Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm going to talk about the Hong Kong WGP Spring 2021, which happens on the 11th of September, and we have both formats, which is D Standard and V Premium, occur on the same day, and we have D Standard in the morning, V Premium in the afternoon. So I am going to cover D Standard in this video, and I will make another report video for free premium because I don't want to put too many contents into one video, making it too long. So it is a very long day, but we are all having some good times. I hope a lot of players being excited and have fun on the day. And the finals, you will see me upload it like later, and it's very high, very intense. So looking forward to that. And let's talk about some basic structure about the event. So we first go into 5 rounds of sweets, and then we cut in the top 8, and then from there we just keep fighting and until we find who is the actual winner. And we do have about 78 participants join the event, and the deck list that we have collected is somewhere around 75, so maybe a little bit missing right here, right there, but that's okay. We still get the major population and ratio on such stuff. So let's quickly talk about the nationwide deck distributions. We have 33 Lyrical Monasterio, 4 Stoichia, 2 Monster Strike, 8 Brand Gates, 12 Cater Sentry, 12 Dark States, and 4 Dragon Empire. So Monster Strike, Stoichia, and Dragon Empire is having the lowest ratio in the whole distribution. And Lyrical Monasterio is kind of expected to have a lot because it's a set that kind of the most recent sets in Overdress, and all of the builds are actually not bad at all. And then we have Cater and Dark States, which are kind of stable. Cater is always Bastion, carrying out basically the whole nations, and still being stable, being very strong with the new support with the orders, making the more drive checks and the deck more threatening. With Dark States, we still have like Barrel Magnus that is kind of a little counter to decks that love to build a board but can't restore if the board is gone, or against some kind of early crit pressure. But of course, still the most scary one is Bruce, because Bruce with the new order, it just go to the next level. You don't need to rely on personal right anymore, and the order Hellblast Wood Dive, draw you cards, give you power, call your session units, and only cause you a counter blast as long as you're in Final Rush, which helps the deck really by a lot. But the downside that you still need to wait until you get to Final Rush is still there. But since Bruce, you always know you are going to play like start pushing in the second Great Right turn, so that I don't think is mattering too much. And then with Brandgate, we have both Office and also Sarah Snow. Sarah Snow with support is actually getting a lot more crazier, which we will also cover in later. And Office having some simple ways to get yourself full board of tokens right now. Easier to get yourself at least two of the set orders to fulfill all your conditions, which is making the deck quite strong as well. But it isn't representing that much in the deck distributions, but still 11%, not bad at all. And then Stoichia, we do have both Magnolia and Sogar, but still not a very strong populations. And then Monster Strike, we do have 2 builds. So let's also look into like a exactly deck type breakdown. So we have 13 Laurel Nero, 13 Clarissa, 1 Curry, 4 Celestial, 1 Feltirosa, 1 Willista, 2 Sogar, 2 Magnolia, 1 Excalibur, 1 Uriel, 6 Sarah Snow, 2 Office, 10 Bastion, 2 Hexer Ops, 3 Barrel Magnus, 9 Bruce, 3 Nirvana and 1 Eugene. So you can see in the graph here, it's kind of a representation on the ratios. Some of them are because their ratio is too small, so I can't find a very good angle, but I try my best. Hopefully it's good enough. But I do list the numbers on the left so you can see how many players actually using specific decks. And we can see from the whole population of lyricals, most of them are Laurel Nero, most of them are Clarissa. It's kind of simple because Laurel Nero have the guard restricts, can gain crit, can make your Vanguard very high power, it's not easy to guard. You can guard once, maybe not twice. And Clarissa, as soon as you get all the 5 types, you get the order card, you can start doing stuff, you can draw a lot of cards, pump a lot of power, restand, you have basically everything you need. The only issue is how you find all your pieces and find your order. If you are having some good luck, always get a second order in hand, always get your triple rare grade 2 so you can fill out your board easy. That isn't a big issue to you. And then one surprising me a little bit more is actually for Celestial. It's not a bad deck, but it really requires you to use a lot of brain power when you build up your deck, because you need to kind of deciding you want to go for white wing or black wing, and depending on the path you choose the cards. So it's not easy, but if you manage to actually build the deck correctly, you can actually go there. And Felty Rosa is only one because I think even I myself tried the deck out and even make a deck profile for it. Is the multiple attack is strong. It can be scary, but it relies sometimes on personal right. So yeah, that's something that might not be that stable in the tournament states. If you need to rely on something that you can't guarantee, not being stable and can't always do your stuff, then it's not a good choice sometimes. And then with this star, being able to use your orders to draw cards, clear your board, but also making yourself deck out that easily may not be a good pick in a meta format. But of course, is overdress, we can basically use anything we want, and it's not the deck isn't that bad that you can't even use it in tournaments. So it's good to see basically every build we have in Lyrical Monasterio being available, not in a kind of a balanced ratio, but I think that's what the meta goes. And 6 Sarah Snows, because Prison is getting a lot stronger right now, and with not only the promos but also with the set 2 support, making the deck easier to prison stuff, easier to get enough cards in prison, being more annoying. That changes a lot, because in set 1 we always can play around Sarah Snow, and now it's possible, but it's harder. Yeah, so and then just quickly also go through 3 Nirvana, 1 Eugene. So Nirvana isn't that much of people using right now compared to the SP event last time, that we do see a lot of Nirvana. But now I think because it's so easy to clean up the board, and the overdress units don't have protections except the Trickster, which I think is making the deck not as strong as the other ones. Yeah. So next, let's also look into the top 8. So for top 8, we do have okay, sorry, got a quick cut, but top 8, let's talk about it right now. So top 8, we have 3 Bruce, 2 of the Sarah Snow, 1 Laurel Nero, 1 Clarissa, and 1 Uriel. So Bruce having the highest population, because as I said before, the deck is actually getting quite strong, and you can play very defensive early games and then go all out when you get in the final rush. Then Prison, just annoying, and you still get your triple drive to have you draw some cards to survive another turn, and from there you just keep presenting units and use it with your opponent's resources, because if they want to get the units back, they need to give you resources, they need to pay the tax. Very interesting, only one Nero and one Carissa remains on top 8, given that we have like 13 Nero, 13 Carissa. But throughout the day, I actually see a lot of lyrical players playing against each other. No matter it's mirror match or Nero versus Carissa or versus the other build. I think that's also one reason why we only see one of each, because most of them get fighting each other and just kick down, and you just keep losing your amount, and because you have so much of a high population, it's so easy to face a mirror match. Then decks like Bruce, decks like Prison can kind of find a way to force you to drop resources, or even give you some pressure early games if they want to, or they can choose not to give you the resources and until they can do this stuff. So that may also be a reason why the Lorero and Clarissa couldn't go that much to the top, because for example Clarissa, you do have the order cards to allow you to attack multiple units, but if you don't have, your opponents don't have that much units on the board, it's not going to help you out. And we can also talk about actual top 3, and first I will talk about which decks go in the top 3 and which one is not. First, we do have one Prison, we have one Monster Strike Uriel, and we have one Laurel Nero go to our top 3. And which means we have Order Bruce goes down, Carissa goes down, and a Prison goes down. Yeah, so with Bruce, as I mentioned before, it's not a bad deck at all, but I saw 2 Bruises fighting against Uriel and lost the match, because Uriel is going to push them so fast and so hard that they cannot pick it up, because if the Bruce deck goes seconds against a Uriel deck, you basically is having a high chance to lose if the player is very like experienced with what Bruce can do. And then Carissa, as I said, if you don't have that much resources to gain, or you run out of orders, or you run out all your units you require on the field in order to use the order, that's where you're going to lose. Yeah, so right here I think we can start talking about the actual top 3 list. Starting from 3rd place is Laurel Nero. So it's a cat song. You can see the list right here is kind of quite standard. I saw some people use the grade 2 to get the power up, but this list used the grade 1 instead, which I think is fine for both. But the grade 1 is a constant 13k, can be a booster, so I think it's kind of better, because I myself also picked the grade 1 rather than actually grade 2 more. Trigger lineups also quite standard: 8 crits, 3 draws, 4 heals, and 1 over trigger. And then we have of course 4 of the grade 2 shield, because when you are using a lot of order cards like Saga, you don't have defense, but this card saves you in return. And then you have your Equinoa that helps you draw cards and become a 15k beater. The great one to help you counter-charge, so you can just keep going to sing songs. The only thing that is stopping you to win is probably when you don't have your grade 3 order. And this deck is actually using only 3 types of order. The grade 1 order only 1, because if it goes to damage, it goes there. And I think he wants a constant crit, so he's using 4 of the grade 2 orders. I think it's okay. Personally, I like to use all 4 types, but I think that's just personal preference. Yeah, nothing too much to say for this deck until we get some next level, the next set of support. I think we are still going to see the same stuff. Now, 2nd place, Monster Strike Uriel, is a very surprising one for me, because I never thought we can see Monster Strike actually going to that high. But according to the user, I think he actually picked this deck One, because he is a collab or like theme booster lover, so I saw him play Bang Dream before, so kind of expected to see him using that. And another reason is he actually saw some top list available to tell him that Monster Strike can actually go top, so he decided to take the deck, and he actually get there, and he almost took the win to be the first place. And it will be very surprising if we see Monster Strike going to first, but second place, still great. And talking about Uriel, it's a deck that allows you to do multiple attacks. Same with Excalibur, which is the other one that available in Monster Strike in our deck distribution. All of them are multiple attackers. So we don't see like Pandora, we don't see the plays because they don't actually attack that much. They do have high power, but they are not doing multiple attacks. And this deck, you can see, is fully utilizing Gabriel, not only in the main deck but also in the right deck, so that you can check a top deck when you ride on the grade 2, and you can see him using quite a lot of crits right here. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crits, and he used a lot of draws and only 2 heals. I think that's something that a bit surprising, only 2 heals, but that actually helps him to win the game. And also one tactics, I think he 2 tactics actually that he is using is one, don't always use your gacha Dora to gacha, especially when you face prison, because prison do have some cards that making you suffer, and if you are trying to do your gacha as well, it's going to make yourself deck out very fast, because Zero Snow is a very slow deck, and if you don't have that much deck left in your deck, you just going to suffer very fast by deck up. And the second tag we can see him using is actually the generic over trigger over the other two, which one gives you a crit and the other one heals you a damage. So I think he choose 2 times of 100 million over the crit or heal, because probably that's not going to affect the game that much. But if you do have 2 very big power units, sometimes it's the last push you need to win your games. Also, we do have the Great One triple rare right there, that when your deck is very thin, you can, and if the over trigger is in your hand, or you find it through your monster box and get to your hand, then you can put it back to your deck shuffle, and from there your opponent is starting to suffer, because they don't know when the over trigger is coming, but they know it's soon. So they need to at least start guarding the Vanguard attack with the PG, unless they can take the damage, or else they are just going to get the attack being go through by 100 million and maybe just lose the game. Also with Komachi, minus power, got restrictions while you're doing multiple attacks is very important, and he's also using the grade 2, I think it's gaining shield to help him survive a little bit longer. And the grade 1 on the bottom left that can soul blasting power and get back to hand, this also creates empty circles, so when your Gabriel attack finish, go to soul, grade 1 bounce to hand, and from there you can just basically use your Uriel to clear yourself as much units as you can and just do your attacks again, which is very strong, and it's a good choice and also a very surprising choice. Yeah. So lastly, let's also talk about the first place, which is a Brand Gate Zero Snow deck. So most of the stuff are quite standard. We can see the grade 2 that when you call from prison minus 5k power, we get the set 1 grade 2 that can be a good shield value, can be a good attacker. We have the grade 2 order that can prison from hand. We do have 1.11 just in case we want to soul in and counter charge. We do have the grade 1 robot to also prison units to draw your cards. The grade 1 alien, or like this, the Mecha Godzilla thing that can create prison cards from drop, and then the trigger lineups is kind of standard as well. 4 heals, 8 crit and 3 fronts and 1 over trigger. But the point I think I want to mention about is the actual promo, because the promo card, the Aurora Battle Princess Accused Martial Arts, so I'm going to also show you the text right here. It's a promo that released recently. I still haven't get access to it, but some players does. And the skill is when this unit is placed on radar circle from hand, costs so +1, and you can prison the top card of your opponent's deck face up in your prison. Then if 2 or more of your opponent's cards are imprisoned in your prison, then this unit will also get 5k until the end of the turn. So this card can, by soul blasting 1, you can simply just kind of getting the 5k plus. And the most important part is you can prison a card from the top of your opponent's deck. So if your opponent is good at managing some cards to be on top of the deck, because for example, if you use Gabriel to check the top card, and you can choose even not to attack, but now with this card right there, they know the top card is a trigger, they can just prison that card, and now your plans are ruined. And if you are using this deck, you fight against decks that are running out of cards from the deck quite fast and going to deck out, this card is also helping them to even speed up the process. So this grade 2 promo is actually quite important in my opinion. And if you are going to play Sarah Snow, or you already is a Sarah Snow player, make sure you find yourself a playset somewhere, because it's just that good, at least for now, until we have some further support. Yeah. I think there's nothing too much more to talk about this deck. Things are quite standard, quite stable, and most of them I think you know what is it all about. But mainly it's just to be annoying, to find a way to prison cards from anywhere, from hand, from deck, from field, from drop. Basically you can prison cards anywhere, as long as you have the parts. And once you get free, you're starting to get your triple drive, you always get your plus 10k, your opponents need to guard your attacks, and you do have a lot of hands to protect yourself. The game takes longer, you have a higher chance to win. And lastly, let's also talk about the prize that we get for first place and second place. Both players get a Vanguard EVE WGP playmat and a golden stem force markers. These force markers, we can also get a non-gold stem, just a normal version, as an entry prize for everyone, for both the standard and free premium, so everyone gets these, but only the top 2 players are getting the gold stem. I think it's the only top 2, but maybe also further forth. But from here, first 2 players definitely get it. And then you get a set of starters. Both players also get the lyrical booster and BDO1, with the first place get an extra box of BDO2. So I think nothing very special in terms of price, but set 1, at least you can still find yourself some PGs, find yourself some over triggers, because you're still going to need them. When we have more and more right lines, it's more important that you do have those prepared. Starters, nothing too much to say as well, but yeah, triggers that only available in starters right now. And with the next Dragon Empire starter, we already know is the reprint of the booster triggers, so you still need to find these starters in order to find yourself some extra triggers until we see some more from future sets. And lyrical is just being the latest booster available, so yeah, you can just basically get a chance to gamble for some high rarity stuff, and I think that's all about it. Yeah, so that's basically all I have to say about this event. and I do have recorded all 5 rounds of suites and then one of each of top 8, top 4, and finals. So you will be seeing them as soon as I get them processed, because I probably going to take the voice out and do my own commentating. So not many conversations will get out, and I think that's a better way to do it, since I'm doing the same thing last time. So do stay tuned for that, and that's it for this video, and I will be recording the free premium one as well, and you will see it very soon. And before that, I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.